Hello. This evening we're going to do some more of our English practices. We're doing this evening because this morning when I looked at the clock again, it was telling me that I needed to go to the clinic already. I won't have sufficient time to do the recording for English class, so I'm doing this now. It's already past 8 o'clock actually because also I had to do something with my computer here. It was making some sound, and I think I solved it somewhat. It was making some sounds because the computer fan, I think, was hitting the wires. I just added three more storages in the motherboard. I think I did that 2 weeks ago, and then I had to put the wires a little bit farther from the electric fan, the computer fan, and I think it's okay now. But we'll see tomorrow and the following days. We'll need to do some more repairs, some more fixing here. But I think it's okay now. Okay. All right. So what's our main topic for the day? As we do have a bunch of videos, today is Saturday, and I remember saying something about uh, let's see, mm, some of the new videos from Mr. Sakurai Masahiro, who in his newest video is sharing something about um, the 3D objects that we can see in games like Smash Brothers, Street Fighter, where actually creating motion and creating, for example, the character on this side, and when the character is facing the other side, um, it's it can be quite tedious. It can be quite um, a workload, and then at the end he does say something regarding this one about the Street Fighter character DJ, and he was explaining somewhat how if you look at the character, he has this text there, the maximum text on his pants, and he says that if you put DJ on the other side, kind of like reversed him, and the text will still be the same. So it's still maximum. You can still read it as maximum, because if you use other letters and you flip the DJ character, you won't be able to read very well the text anymore, right? Because the letters will won't be displayed correctly. You won't be able to read the maximum letter as well. Okay. All right. Okay, so of course we do have a new video from Mr. Okamoto Yoshi. He was saying something about the Nintendo Switch having this arcade archives, and they were thinking about how Nintendo was going to do that. Because if you have several games from the past and you want it to be played on a newer console, newer machine like the Nintendo Switch, of course we know that there's another Nintendo machine coming up. But if we think about how could they create this arcade archives, and according to Mr. Okamoto, it seems that um, maybe the best path to do this would be to use emulators, um, and uh, and of course, even though we know that emulators can do this task, we still have to tweak it a little bit, particularly because the controls of the Nintendo Switch, for example, may not be exactly like the ones in the past, right? So you gotta have some sort of input in the input system there so that the controls will still be okay. And he was saying that in the past there were people who because they didn't really have I guess access to the actual files, the the image files. What they did was to copy from the the machine, which they maybe got, even bought, and then put those drawings, the sprites, onto a software that they have, so that they can um, create the game for another system. And this is what we call porting the game from maybe the arcade to a consumer console. So before, when there was no emulator, it seemed like the path to do was to really get hold of the game and then copy the characters from the game, and then put them in another machine, in another computer console. I think the Street Fighter anniversary collection on Steam Powered, if you play the Street Fighter 3, seems a little bit um, like the sprites are a little bit smaller actually. And I think the arcade version would be much better. I seem to have that sense when I was playing the Street Fighter 3, the third strike game. It's like the sprites were a little bit smaller than they should. So maybe that's also what they did. Um, they got hold of some of the drawings, and then when they put it there, it's a little bit modified. It's not like the actual one in the arcades. Maybe that's why. Um, and then Mr. Okamoto Yoshiki was also saying that there were people who would print sometimes um, the drawings, print them, and then from the printed documents you can create another port of the game. Now, when he was saying like printing, and I looked at his what he's wearing, his shirt, it reminded me of the Final Fantasy series, particularly mm, Miss Shibuya, Miss Shibuya, because I think there was a time when she was sharing a lot about the Final Fantasy games, how they created the drawings, and how she had still a lot of the documents, the illustrations, the pixel art. I think um, it's I think the games that the Square Enix have been releasing, particularly the games from the past, we have this sense that the past games for the past consoles were much better. But I think the way they did it was they wanted to mm, create the game so that you can quickly play them in whatever screen or monitor resolution that you're using. So it's sort of automatically resized. But the result was the games from, for example, the Super Family Computer Mini was so much better in terms of like the characters fitting well with the backgrounds and all that. And I think even the Chrono Trigger game, which I still play, I know there are some of the like some kind of sense that the text might be a little bit too small, or the layout of the commands, the menu, and then sometimes the characters move excessively. These things didn't seem to be there when we were playing the Super Family Computer version or the SNES version. Um, so we can wonder why it's like that, right? What happened? Why are they releasing these games in such ways. Because, for example, when I tell people I'm playing Chrono Trigger, I'm doing this and that, then they also download and buy the game. They find, why are you even playing this game? There's so many bugs, so many problems with this game, right? So I guess when you attempt to market something like because even though you're doing this because you really like the game, and people download the game and they find lots of errors, lots of problems that um, it's like you are questionable in terms of really promoting this game. Why are you even promoting this game um, if you look carefully, there are a lot of problems in this game, right? And it's not like the ones that we had before. So I think this is a clue too to um, what the trend is in the video game industry, where people I guess want to release a lot of the games from the past, but because there are also a lot of variations in computer monitors, in computer specs, the output doesn't quite reach the ones from the days of old. Because for the Super Family computer, I think we just have that machine, and there's not a lot of variation with the specs of the graphics card or whatever you needed to put, and then the computer monitor, the television. It looked like it auto resized itself. Okay, so I think we can stop here for now. Maybe the other classes would be much interesting for people who wanted to hear about the system thing that I was saying about people having this fear about um, like when you die you got nothing anymore, it's like zero. And that's also what I've been telling people, that if you die, that's it, that's the end. Because there are people who say if there's an afterlife, then um, they just go ahead and do risky things without worrying about anything else. It's like if you die, you just come back and there's no negative consequence at all. It seems like that's the impression that some people get. But for those who, because they have this fear, and they're afraid at times, and because we need to find some way to at least help out people who are having problems with this particular aspect of life, right? Death, and people worrying too much. I think that's the main problem. Worrying about things, and I think the thing that we can think about is the system that we're in right now. The energy within the system doesn't disappear; it just gets transferred from one place to another, right? So, if a person dies, the energy goes to another thing. Now, the problem with that is also all the stuff that you remember, your friends, your relationships, will all seem to disappear too. You won't remember anything at all. You won't even be a human being at all too, maybe, right? Um, but if you understand that the system is like one whole system where the energy is not gonna disappear, it just gets transferred from one place to another, and all of us here, all the objects, the human beings, the animals, and whatever, even non-living things that are here in this universe or system, big system, create this system. So we all create this system, and so if you can think in that way, the relationships that you think have disappeared, have been cut because the person died or something, um, is not necessarily um, going to be cut too, because you're thinking in a wider way where everyone creates the system. So it's not like one guy dies and um, we have one less energy in our system. It's not like that. The energy still is contained in this system, right? It Everyone's energy create the system that we have right now. So in that sense, the relationship would go into a much higher kind of mode, because maybe at the start you were thinking about your father, your mother, or your wife or whatever. But in this case, everyone, the whole thing, um, it sort of transcends that idea and creates this much larger um, idea of the whole. But again, there should be a caution included in this way of thinking, because people would say, well, if that's the case, just like what I was saying a while ago, then dying isn't a problem, or you don't have to live life to the fullest at all. Live a much riskier life, because if you die, you just come back, and something like that, right? I think the way I also answered that in Japanese class was, what we want now is to be able to live continuously, much longer and with a much higher quality. So what that means is we need to find out if there's a way for us to continuously live on, with, of course, our friends still here, and family members, even things like that. Other than what I just explained too, because when you think about the whole system as a whole, it's definitely much larger. So the relationships that you have right now, um, we're thinking, is there a way to um, still have those father, mother, wife, husband type of relationship, right? Um, and I think the way to do that is to find out how to continuously live on and carry on your memories with you, because once you die, your memories really, maybe you have this cherished memory when you were growing up, or cherished memory with your wife or something. Those things disappear, right? When I say disappear, you don't carry them with you. Um, uh, they still remain in the system, the whole system. So that's why you have to think about the whole system as a whole. But you yourself, once you die, you don't bring those things with you. It's the same with money, right? It's the same with money. Whatever amount that you have in your bank account, you don't bring them with you when you die, because you're dead, right? So so in that sense, um, for certain people, this could help. For other people, it might seem like I guess something that could be useful, could be helpful, but not so much. So it could be that. That's why I was saying that I'm wearing white with the red underneath, red shirt underneath. So if it's not such a big help, maybe I could switch it a little bit, put the red shirt on top. And we know that in Final Fantasy, if you're like a red mage, you can heal, but you can also attack. So in that sense, maybe I'm attacking instead of healing, right? Okay. All right. So we'll stop here for now. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see each other